They arrived a few moments later where Amy and Mizuki were facing off.
Give me the scroll, Emi, or you are going to die like that fool Iruka. Mizuki confidently commanded. You killed Iruka-sensei, you bastard, Ami yelled. Throwing all caution to wind, Ami charged at the grinning Chinin. When Ami was close enough, Mizuki backhanded her hard. She stumbled to the ground, slightly dizzy. Kasumi, having seen enough, poked Naruto to do something. Oni-chan! Naruto sighed. He pointed a finger at Kasumi's forehead and poked her. Ow! What was that for Oni-chan? She glared. Revenge for your poke. He chuckled as Kasumi looked indignant. Just kidding. That was Tensha fine. Huh? I gave you a technique, Kasumi. Now you save her yourself. I don't feel like it. Kasumi huffed and concentrated on finding any new memory. When she started seeing memories that were not hers, she smiled. Hey, you were not kidding! Of course. Now do you want Ame to die? Hey! Oh, sorry, I almost forgot about her.
Natsumi and Naruto sweat dropped.
Kasumi activated her Sharingan and pointed a finger at Mizuki. Utakata ephemeral, Genjutsu. Crow, ephemera.
Amy barely caught the sight of two glowing red eyes with 3 Tomo in them, and then heard something unclear before Mizuki started screaming.
Ah, stop! Stop it, please. Stop.
Amy watched as Mizuki kept screaming on top of his lungs, and then started throwing weapons around randomly. Fortunately, she had enough forethought to defend herself against any stray weapons that found their way to her.
Mizuki was caught in a powerful Sharingan-based genjutsu, in which half of his body transformed into various friends and family, and then told him how much they hate him and are disappointed in him. This goes along with the enemies attacking and causing pain to the target within the genjutsu. So needless to say, Mizuki was fucked.
Let's go, Kasumi-chan. Anbu must be on their way searching for the scroll. Iruka and Amy will explain what happened to them, and we don't want to be anywhere near here when the Anbu get here.
It will be suspicious that Mizuki suddenly started screaming, but there is no way they can trace that back to us.
Both the girls nodded. Then they all shunshin out of there, straight outside Uzumaki compound.
Uzumaki compound. Hey! Where were you 3? You shouldn't go out like this without telling me or Nina where you are. Kushina demanded from the grinning siblings. Ah, sorry, Kao-chan, but I am telling you it was worth it. Naruto exclaimed, clearly very excited about something. Huh. She tilted her head to the side, confused as to what might make them so happy. Come on, Kasumi-chan. Let's get a big scroll. Confused, Kushina decided to follow them. When Natsumi winked at her, she got even more confused. What did they get their hands on to be so damn happy? Finally, Kasumi and Naruto opened a huge blank scroll and started writing techniques on it. What the hell are you two? Holy hell! Who showed you that hejutsu? And that is a kinjutsu. That too.
With every technique the twins wrote, it became more and more clear where the techniques came from. Those are the personal techniques of the first Hokage, and those are Sarutobi's kinjutsu. Where did you get your hands on the forbidden scroll of sealing? The twins and Natsumi grinned at the worried face of their mother. Don't worry, Ka-chan. We didn't get into any trouble.
Then they explained to her how they got the scroll.
After the explanation, Kushina sat silently, contemplating the effects of the new development. Well, this sure is a great thing you did for us all. I am sure many of these kinjutsu will be very useful in the future. Not to mention the Mokuden just you of the first will be helpful in your sub-elemental training, Naruto-kun. We must make sure no one comes to know we have this knowledge though.
I am particularly impressed by the Kuchiyose. Edo Tensei. Think you can use it somehow in your medical jutsu, Natsumi-chan? Natsumi pondered her mother's question before nodding hesitantly. I can try to decipher it to create a revival technique of sorts, but I can't be sure. It will take a long time to understand all the workings and stuff. Kushina smiled at her daughter. Well, you have all the time in the world. Put this scroll in the secret section of our library, and then you are all free to read and learn whatever you want from it.
Of course, don't even think about trying to use any suicide techniques from the fourth. Damn, he had a fetish for those. Half of the entries he made in the scroll contained suicide techniques, and then he didn't add his two of the most prized techniques there. Rasengan and Hiraishin, right? Naruto asked. Yeah, fortunately he left his study in this compound, so Kasumi was able to study from his notes to recreate Hiraishin. I will teach you all Rasengan when the time comes.
I don't want to, Naruto replied firmly.
Kushina sighed. Sochi-kun, even though he was a bastard for doing what he did to us, he still did some useful things in his life. It doesn't matter who made what technique. A ninja must use every tool at his disposal. Besides, if Leaf turns against us someday, what better way to destroy it than the techniques from their own hero?
Naruto nodded dejectedly. You have a point. I am sorry for that, Kachan. I will use whatever tools are available at my disposal. Good boy. Kushina patted his head. Don't do that. Hokage office. Is that what happened, Ami-chan? Hi, Hokage-sama.
This is most troubling news. You were saved by a Sharingan user, but there are only two left that we know of, Itachi and Kakashi. Sasuke hasn't yet activated his. It wasn't Kakashi because you saw two eyes, and if that is so, it means Itachi is here or there is another Uchiha alive.
Sarutobi sat there for a while, thinking everything through. Hokage-sama, I think it was a girl. Huh? I heard her call out a technique and the voice was that of a girl, so I am pretty sure it was a girl. That is extremely useful information. Ami, you are dismissed. Please don't forget to attend your class for your team assignments. And don't tell anyone about the Sharingan. As you wish, Sandaime-sama. With that, Ami left. She had still held something back from the Hokage, and wasn't planning on ratting out her savior. When Kasumi had deactivated her Sharingan, Ami had been able to see her ocean blue eyes, just for a moment before she vanished. A blue-eyed Sharingan-wielding hero. Who are you? She suspected Kasumi, but wasn't sure yet. The deep blue eye color was rare in Konoha. Yamanaka's had light blue or green eye color, but other than that, blue was rare. All the Uzumaki had an ocean blue eye color, and Kasumi's was slightly darker than the others. She hadn't seen Naruto without his sunglasses yet, but when she was 4, she had seen him once, and his eyes were ocean blue, too. I hope it was you, Kasumi-chan. Being saved by her crush was like a dream come true for the genin. She couldn't help but be all giddy on the thought. I will become a lot stronger, Kasumi-chan, and next time I will be the one to save you from danger. Meanwhile, Sarutobi was having a meeting with the elders. Does that mean Itachi has come back? Koharu questioned. No, from what the girl tells me, it was a female ninja. Though I'm not sure how much a genin's observation matters. It could have been anyone using a henge to fool her. You make a point, Sarutobi. But, just in case if it is true, I was not aware that we have another Uchiha alive. We ordered Itachi to finish them all, and he only asked for Sasuke and Mikoto to be spared. Mikoto never managed to activate her Sharingan. How could there be another? Danzo asked through narrowed gaze. It is possible that one of the Uchihas had an affair with someone outside the clan, and had a child with Sharingan. If she didn't join the clan, then there is no way she was inside the compound during the massacre. That is just my theory. Itachi could have sneaked someone out, or missed one. After all, it is possible to miss 1 or 2 when you are killing hundreds. Sandaime suggested. Elders nodded at the theory. Whoever this girl is, we must find her if she exists. It is a good thing we have 2 Sharingan users left. Our plan to repopulate the Uchiha, this time non-treacherous, will go a lot faster now. Danzo's tone was approving and demanding. Homura sighed. This will be hard. We don't know her age, or anything really except that she is a girl and has the Sharingan again if she exists. Koharu Utatane rubbed her chin in thought, having found no other possible way of finding the girl she admitted in defeat. We must look for a kunoichi with black eye color and get them all tested, including Makoto. Maybe she activated her Sharingan. If none of the tests are positive, then the genin was fooled by a henge. Getting nods of approval, the meeting was dismissed. Next day, Academy. The whole class was in an excited mood. They were all wondering who they will have as teammates. I wish I am on the same team as Sasuke-kun. Man, I hope I am paired with Kasumi so I can show her how cool I am and claim her after that. I hope I don't have any fangirls on my team. And similar murmurs filled the entire classroom. Hinata and Amai kept glancing at Kasumi, who was slowly becoming more and more nervous. Hey, Ane-chan, she whispered. You think she knows? I don't know Kasumi-chan, but if she does, she didn't tell Sarutobi, or Kaa-chan would have been called demanding explanations. Kasumi bit her lower lip and prayed. Ami didn't know it was her that saved her last night. Finally, Iruka entered the class, bandaged from head to toe. Iruka-sensei, what happened to you? Many students tried to ask, some slightly panicked. It's nothing. Just an accident, Iruka said, waving them off. Ami looked down in shame. She was still feeling bad for falling for Mizuki's trap. Okay, now I will tell you who your teammates and sensei are. Team 1. Team 7. Uchiha Sasuke. Haruno Sakura. Sakura cheered loudly at that, and Sasuke winced. And Amai, your sensei will be Hate Kakashi, the copy ninja. Sasuke smirked at that. Of course he would get someone strong like Hate Kakashi. One of the ex-Anbu captains as his sensei. He was an Uchiha after all. Team 8. Abaram Shino, Inuzuka Kiba and Hinga Hinata. Your sensei will be Kurenai Yohi, the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha. Hinata seemed a bit disappointed but didn't say anything. Kiba looked angry too. Why didn't I get paired with Kasumi? She was the hottest bitch in the class and I am the alpha male, Kiba shouted. Iruka's sweat dropped. I don't think dog politics work in team arrangements, Kiba. So please calm down. Kiba grumbled but got down. Alpha males are supposed to get alpha bitches. Naruto looked ready to tear Kiba apart if not for Kasumi and Natsumi holding him down. But finally he calmed himself before he killed anyone. Team 10 Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akimichi Choji. Your sensei will be Sarutobi Asuma, one of the 12 ninja guardians. Team 11 Uzumaki Kasumi, Uzumaki Natsumi, and Uzumaki Naruto. Your sensei will be Uzumaki Kushina, Whirlpool's Red Death. There was a roar of disapproving shouts from the entire class. Nara Shikamaru was particularly baffled by this. Despite his lazy attitude, he was a genius. Every team so far made some sense to him. Sasuke's team was an assault team with heavy hitters like Sasuke, a possible Genjutsu user Sakura, along with a possible medic Mi. Then Team 8 was a tracking team, having Byakugan, and Inuzuka and Shino's bugs. Ino-Shika Cho trio was a famous combination for an infiltration squad, thanks to their parents. So that made sense too, but the Uzumaki didn't make any sense at all. All other teams were balanced, weak members paired with strong ones, like Ami with Sasuke, Ino with Choji, Hinata with Shino, etc. Iruka's sensei. How is that a balanced team? Kasumi and Natsumi are the first and second ranked students of our class, and Naruto had beaten Sasuke yesterday. Not to mention all three of them broke all the records on weapons test, scoring perfect 1000. You are not only putting 3 possible Itachis on the same team, but having them being taught by Kushina-sama. She is a cage-level ninja herself. From what my parents told me, she is possibly as strong as Yondaime-sama. Iruka sighed in defeat before answering. Well, this is a standard team set up from the old times. The Rookie of the Year Kasumi, the Academy Best Natsumi, and Dobe of the Year Naruto were supposed to be put on the same team. I am not saying that Naruto is the worst, but he still has the lowest scores when the whole year's performance is calculated. It doesn't matter if he wasn't even there to take the tests. As far as Kushina-sama is concerned, she requested this team herself and got the council's approval. If any of you have any further inquiries, you can go ask Hokage-sama. The three siblings smirked as the whole class started shouting about favoritism and partiality. Sasuke stood up with his hair covering his eyes. "Why do they get a better sensei than I, an Uchiha?" he demanded in a dark tone. Iruka stood up with his hair covering his eyes too. "Why did they score higher than you, an Uchiha?" Iruka demanded in a dark tone. Sasuke fumed. "Ha ha ha. Sorry, Sasuke. I couldn't resist saying that." "Really, I apologize. You should go ask Hokage-sama as he decides the teams. I don't know whether I should hate the demon brat or pity him. On one hand, he is going to be teamed up with the three hottest girls in the village. On the other hand, all of them are his family, so he knows he stands no chance for them. Poor bastard. He can see what he could get, but will never get it. But I suppose he deserves that for being such a ruthless and brutal bastard. If only Iruka knew how totally wrong he was." Chapter 10. The Dark Beginnings. Ninja Academy, Konohagakure no Sato. After all the teams were announced, one by one various jonin entered the class and left with their assigned teams. Naruto watched everything with mild interest. It was clear that most of the jonin assigned to teach the students were elite, to make sure the new generation is able to completely manifest their talents. Not that many of them were talented, but some did seem to have a future as ninja. Naruto's gaze once again swept through the remaining crowd. He made sure to pay extra attention to those who appeared to be strong, and try to find any weakness. Their mother, Kushina, had told them that Sarutobi was getting more and more annoying by the day, and council was not improving at all. If this kept going the way it is now, they won't have to stay in Konoha for long. When that day comes, every Konohanin will become their enemy, and it's always a good thing to know your enemy. Another reason to know them would be to find anyone who might be a good spy for them, but that was what Kasumi was there for, as she already had many people in the village completely infatuated with her. He noticed the bug user. Shino seemed to be the most dangerous of the group. He had purposefully scored lower than his capabilities in the test, for what reason Naruto didn't know, and didn't really care. Another interesting one was the shadow user, Shikamaru. He did a good job hiding his true capabilities, but slipped up when the teams were announced, showing he had intelligence beyond most in their age group. Kushina had told them that the most dangerous enemy on the battlefield were the thinkers, like the shadow user. They didn't need to be stronger than you to kill you. They just needed to outsmart you. A genius like Shikamaru might one day be able to pull even an S-rank ninja to his death, even though Shikamaru himself couldn't put up much of a fight in close combat. Other than that, he didn't really notice any real challenges, so he glanced back at Kasumi. Kasumi was nervous. Her mother had asked her to make sure she plants at least one spy in the village before they have to leave the village. Kushina herself would be able to use Mikoto for that purpose. Mikoto was a retired jonin, and while an Uchiha, she never managed to activate her Sharingan. Most people didn't pay much attention to her. She was just another normal citizen after retirement. The most attention she got was when she was looked upon as the last Uchiha's mother. It seemed people didn't consider someone without a Sharingan as an Uchiha, so she would be able to pick up information that general populace knew. Nothing more than that. But Kasumi had to do the tougher job. She had to make sure her spy had access to the higher levels of information. She couldn't really think of anyone like that, except Hinata. Hinata was a lovesick puppy for Kasumi and her family. She knew it, but didn't respond to her more subtle advances. The shy Hyuga heiress was perfect for their plan. She hated her own clan, didn't have much love for the village either, and was hopelessly in love with her and Naruto. But what bothered Kasumi most was that Hinata was still loyal to Konoha. Maybe not as much to her clan, but to Konoha. She would have to make sure that her loyalty to Kasumi was more than that to Konoha. Sighing, she made her choice. Hinata was going to be their second spy. It was needed to make sure Konoha doesn't surprise them in the future. Now she will just have to think of a way to increase Hinata's loyalty towards them and reduce it towards Konoha. Kasumi frowned a bit as she gazed through the now thinned crowd of students. A lot of them were obsessed with her, but she didn't think any were dependable. Ami was a considerable choice too, but she didn't have access to information like the Higa heiress. She decided to approach Hinata about the subject this evening. It probably won't be easy to convince her to potentially betray the village, but Kasumi was sure she could do it. A female jonin with ruby-red eyes entered the room and called for Team 8. Kasumi noticed the woman she identified as Kurenai had a curious gaze upon herself. Probably she knows about Hinata's crush on me and is analyzing me to find out what kind of influence I have over her student. I will need to be careful about her. She is going to be my spy's teacher. I don't need her to suspect anything. Meanwhile, Natsumi was lost in her own thoughts about how to approach Naruto on including her in his relationship with Kasumi. Let's see, I love them both, and Kasumi loves us both too. Naruto loves Kasumi, but what about me? That's the problem. I need to find out if he loves me too. She continued thinking of various ways in which she can find out Naruto's feelings for her, and how he would respond to her unusual request. 2 hours later. By now, only 6 people were left in the room. Sasuke was brooding as usual, and Sakura was trying to get him to notice her. Kasumi noticed Ami was looking at her curiously, before she started approaching her. Kasumi mentally panicked a bit, but kept a calm facade. I hope she doesn't know it was me in the forest. Last thing we need is for everyone to start blaming us for stealing the Sharingan or something like that. Ami stopped upon reaching Kasumi's seat. Kasumi appeared to be perfectly calm on the outside, but inwardly she was berating herself for playing hero in the forest. Ami hesitated a moment before getting a control on her nerves. Hello, I'm Ami. I noticed we never talked to each other even though we were in the same class. Kasumi mentally gave a sigh of relief when Ami blushed while speaking. Good. She is still obsessed with me. Even if she knows she won't tell anyone. She considered telling her to fuck off, like she usually does to the admirers who grow too bold. But then the thought of Amy ratting out her secret stopped that line of thought. I can at least be civil. Kasumi, Uzumaki, nice to meet you. Ami's eyes lit up when Kasumi responded. She had half expected to be ignored, like everyone else, but it seemed Lady Luck was on her side today. So she decided that she better make the most out of her situation. Well, I was wondering if you had anything to do this evening. Me and some of my friends are going to celebrate our graduation. It would be great if you could come. Kasumi frowned a bit but didn't think twice before denying. No thanks. I am not the most social person. Big celebrations are not my kind of thing. Kasumi hated large crowds and gatherings. People were like sheep there. If one of them starts shouting something, the rest start following. If Naruto or herself are anywhere near big groups of people, then it will only bring trouble. It wasn't that she couldn't handle a few mobs trying to rape or kidnap her, she just didn't want to attract too much attention to herself. Oh, how about we have a small celebration then? Just the two of us. And anyone else you want to bring. Amy was growing bold, slowly but surely. It was probably Kasumi-chan who saved me yesterday. If so, then she must at least like me a little bit. That means I have a chance. Kasumi thought about it. She didn't really care who had a crush on her. She just couldn't think of anyone other than Naruto romantically. Natsumi came close to that, but not quite. If she had to, she would still say that they only had sisterly love in between them. Naruto was her life partner though. She would willingly give her life for any of her family. But Naruto was special for her. She couldn't really tell how he was different to her than her mother or sister. He just was. If she went out with Emi, she could explore the potential possibility of another spy, as a backup for anything Makoto or Hinata had missed. Don't really see anything to lose here, she thought. Fine. Meet me outside Uzumaki compound at 5. I will bring another girl with me. Ami nearly fainted in shock. Despite all the convincing herself, she had never expected her requested to be really accepted. She had hoped, but for it to actually happen, yes. Thank you so much. I will be there right on time. Kasumi gave her a small smile before shooing her away. Ami grinned as she walked back to her team just as the door to the room opened. Nothing could wipe that grin off her face. Dobe, I suggest you stay away from her. She is my bitch. I don't want her to be influenced by your weakness. Well, nothing other than the Emo King himself, she thought wryly. No one responded to the Uchiha. Ami because she didn't care about what anyone else thought about it anymore. The Uzumaki were used to ignore everything around them. And Sakura was having a mental orgasm thinking Sasuke was saying that for her. A few minutes later, Kakashi entered and took in the presence of the 6 graduates. The Uchiha had a lot of potential. He will make a good student. The Haruno had quite some potential too, if only she could grow out of her fangirl stage. Not that he will try to get her out of it, he didn't care enough. The civilian girl was a wild card. She didn't have prodigy-like talent, but she was quite good with weapons from what he heard. Her score was 7th highest, behind the 3 Uzumaki, Uchiha, Hyuga, and the Aburame. Pretty good, but not something to boast about. He would have to explore her talents if he ever got the time for it. He was quite curious when he noticed the other 3. His gaze fell upon Kasumi's long legs, and he mentally sighed in relief that no one could see his small nosebleed, thanks to his mask. Kushina-sama is never late to anything unless it can't be avoided. Why are these 3 still here? Despite how much he had tried, Sandaime refused to let him have any Uzumaki on Team 7. He knew that they were his sensei's children as he was aware of the relationship between Minato and Kushina, but couldn't teach them anything. He didn't understand why he couldn't get Kasumi instead of Ami till he was told of the council's decision. He mentally frowned when he thought about any assassination attempts the council might try on his sensei's family. He hadn't really paid much attention to any of them. He was a busy man after all. He had his porn to read, memorial stone to stare at, and a lot of other things. Kushina-sama doesn't let me near them, as she still hasn't forgiven Sensei for what he did. But sooner or later, her hatred will wither with time. Then I will repay your debt, Sensei, by being of some use to them. It helps that all 3 female Uzumakis are super hot. No, mustn't think perverted about Sensei's wife, but the girls are still hot. Some more blood dribbled down his nose and he drooled a bit, but all that was hidden by his mask. Yo, I am Hatake Kakashi. Team 7, meet me on the roof. He poofed into smoke after that. Naruto had noticed Kakashi's eye trailing up and down Kasumi's bare legs for a brief few seconds before he managed to control himself. He was tempted to gauge his eye out, but he had to admit it was difficult to resist staring at them, especially after you have been between them. After Team 7 left to meet their sensei, only the 3 Uzumaki were left in the class. Naruto was getting worried, so he decided to ask his sisters about it. Why do you think Ka-chan hasn't arrived yet? It isn't like her to be this late. I don't know, One-chan. I'm getting worried myself. Kasumi answered with confusion in her voice, along with some worry. Don't worry. I'm sure she will be here soon. We all know how strong she is. Natsumi reassured them, but inwardly she was wondering the same thing herself. 30 minutes later, a small whirlpool of water appeared in front of the siblings, bringing smiles to their faces. But when it cleared, they panicked. Ka-chan, what happened to you? Natsumi jumped out of her seat and began healing Kushina's wounds. She looked pretty beaten up. Lots of cuts and bruises all over her. Some of her clothes were torn too. Don't worry, I'm fine. I am already regenerating, so don't waste too much chakra healing me, Natsu-chan. Let's go to the compound. I will explain everything when we get there. None of them questioned her as she grabbed them to shunshin out of there. A few minutes later, Uzumaki compound. Alright, here is what happened. I want you all to pay close attention. After I convinced Sarutobi to get you 3 under my tutelage, I left on my last solo S-ranked mission. After which I was going to be on missions with you 3 only. Each S-ranked mission has a pay of more than 1 million ryo, and I wanted to collect as much money as possible before we have to leave the village. After I was returning from my mission this morning, I was ambushed by an ambush squad. The attack was timed too well, so I know they were aware of my arrival beforehand. That means directly or indirectly Sarutobi was involved. It could have been that some files got into wrong hands, but the risk is too high to ignore. I want you all to stay on high alert. We haven't done anything to arouse suspicion yet, but still, they want me gone. All 3 siblings frowned at the new information. Kushina was pretty damn strong, but to be ambushed by 4 ambu while tired from a mission. They were lucky she was alive. I could have been killed today, but I am too awesome to die yet. She grinned, hoping to lighten the mood. Kasumi gave her a small smile. Naruto just nodded nervously while Natsumi continued healing her. Look, don't be too upset, I have good news too. The statement was met with 3 confused and hopeful glances. It was rare for them to get any kind of good news, so they were hoping it was something awesome, like everyone in Konoha died. Except them, of course. Well, there was another reason I took this mission. It was in Rice Country. Now I didn't tell this to Sandan, but Nina told me that Orochimaru has a village in the land of rice, and since he was interested in Natsumi, I thought it would be good to check out my enemy's defenses. My mission was to assassinate one of the nobles there, along with a few squads of ninja guarding him. I left one of them alive, and when my mission was complete, tortured some information out of him. You mean you trained him? Kasumi asked curiously. Kushina's eyebrow twitched a few times. You haven't seen what I can really do when I torture. Your training is nothing compared to it? Kasumi was suspicious if it was possible to torture someone worse than Kushina's training, but decided to trust her mother for now. What did you find out, Kachan? Naruto inquired. She gave a big happy smile before starting. Orochimaru is going to attack Konoha during the Chunin exams. I was planning on letting the old monkey know about the attack at first, but the ambush today was the final straw for me. The man I tortured didn't know too much, unfortunately, but this much is pretty nice to know too. Kushina had tried to get any information on Orochimaru's plans regarding her daughter, but unfortunately that man didn't know about it. So he died. So what do we do? Kasumi asked. Kushina continued with a smirk. When Orochimaru attacks the village, there will be a lot of confusion, and the leaf will become weak. No matter how strong Orochimaru has become, I have no doubt the attack will be repelled. Leaf is the one of the strongest shinobi village for a reason. But they will still suffer heavy losses. That will be our chance. During the confusion and the weakened state of the village, we can make our escape. It will take them a while to find out we are not here. Then it will take them a while more to get organized and send someone after us. That should be enough for us to get away. Not to mention we can inflict some critical damage on them while escaping, to weaken them further. Where are we going to go? And what are we going to do once we leave? Natsumi nervously asked. She had become accustomed to living in the Uzumaki compound and had started to see it as home. Of course, her home was wherever her family was, but she was quite happy with how things were, except ninja trying to kill her family, the whole village cursing and glaring at them, and an S-rank ninja out for her blood. I have a friend in Mist Mayterum. Her grandmother was one of the few loyal survivors of the branch Uzumaki family. As I have told you before, the branch families of the Uzumaki were those families who didn't have our bloodline. Most of them had left and formed a new clan, the Senju. It was around the same time your great-grandfather and previous dragon summoner died. We suspect they were behind his death, but we don't have any proof. Anyway, they don't have our bloodline, and Mei's mother, who was the daughter of a branch Uzumaki, took up her husband's name, Tarum. Her daughter Mei got the lava release bloodline from their grandfather, and boil release bloodline from her father. Mei and I didn't meet too many times, but we are still good friends. We first met on a mission when I was 15, and hit it off quite well. I am sure she will help us settle down there as freelance shinobi until we are able to set up enough infrastructures in Uzushogakure to make a clan house again. Further, even if we can't stay there for long, I am sure I can convince Mei to train Naruto-kun in her 2 sub-elements. Did you just say Uzushiogakure? All 3 of them gasped out. Oh yes, just think about it. We didn't really have too many people in our clan even when Uzushogakure was flourishing. We were a small, happy family, 500 at most, with only around 100 ninja. But most of us were seal masters by the time we reached 16, so our clan was as powerful as any hidden village, if not more. She paused as she tried to remember more. She was 7 when Uzushogakure was annihilated. Kushina was in Konoha at that time for a visit to her aunt Uzumaki Mito, Shodai's wife, or she would have been dead as well. Nina was the only one able to escape, thanks to her all-round vision of 10 miles and superior skills. From what I managed to gather, Kiri Kumoewa attacked Uzushogakure because they were afraid Uzumaki were going to directly aid Konoha in battle, which would have made Konoha's victory certain. But, Kaei-chan, if Kiri was one of those who attacked Uzushogakure, why are we going there? The 3 siblings knew that war promoted hatred. Whenever there was a war between 2 villages, people die. If a Kiri ninja dies at the hands of the Uzumaki, then his family and friends will probably hate the Uzumaki, even if they knew Kiri attacked first. That was just how people's mind worked. When they are sad or angry, they look for something to direct their hatred at. It doesn't matter if the said something is at fault or not. As if reading their thoughts, Kushina answered them. Because at that time Kiri was under different rule, and followed different policies. After the bloodline purges, my friend Mei became the new Mizukage, and she has changed Kiri for the better. The people don't blame Uzumaki for their losses, they blame the previous Mizukage for the bloodline civil war, and the high amount of deaths during that time, including the ones in Uzushogakure, as he was the Mizukage then as well. The 3 nodded in understanding at that. The people found someone else to direct their hatred at. Good. So you are friends with the new Mizukage? Kasumi asked. Yeah, since we are going to be missing Nin from Konoha, no country would want to risk a war by taking us in. I have already talked to Mei about this. Whenever we leave Konoha, she will be able to arrange hands-off missions to us. That means that those missions won't have any written records, and no one will know the Mizukage ordered them. But we will probably get paid more than a regular S-rank mission. That sounds awesome, Kei-chan. Kushina nodded at them. Getting out of Konoha permanently would be really refreshing. Even though they didn't care about them much, constant glaring and cursing from everyone in your village was depressing. The high pay from the hands-off missions combined with the funds she had managed to gather during her time in Konoha will help them re-establish the Uzumaki compound in Uzushogakure. Yeah, now that you all know what we are going to do, here is how we are going to do it. Most people in Konoha don't know our true capabilities, even my own. While I have been a Konoha Anbu for a long time, I always preferred working solo. The technique that made me famous as the Whirlpool's Red Death has never been witnessed by anyone alive till now, except for a select few. And I've been lucky enough that they never revealed too much about it. I only use it when the enemy is real good, and usually I don't have any allies nearby. Once I start performing it, I make sure the enemy dies to not be able to tell about it to anyone. It is a forbidden whirlpool technique after all. Maybe I will show you all someday, but I don't think any of you except Kasumi will be able to do it. No offense. Only she inherited my Uzumaki water affinity, thus her chances for it are the best. All 3 of them looked a bit confused, so she elaborated. You remember how Kasumi's chakra affinity test made the paper dissolve into water instead of making it wet? Well, that shows she has extremely high water affinity. It happens every once a while in Uzumaki's. It's not a bloodline, it just happens. But what made us, Uzumaki feared, was F-injutsu. So you all should make sure that you are all Seal Master level at the minimum. You can consult myself or Nina-san regarding your studies whenever you get stuck. Otherwise, just read from the new archives that Nina keeps writing. She grimaced at that memory. Nina had been running herself to the ground, trying to recreate all the lost scrolls on F-injutsu that the Uzumaki had. She had vast knowledge, as she had spent 60 years with Uzushio Fanjutsu masters after all. But still, she spent almost her whole day in the library. Kushina wanted Nina to have some fun too, but she couldn't put too much pressure on it. While Kushina was officially the clan head, Nina had more experience and was her senior, so Kushina knew she shouldn't interfere much when it comes to Nina's decisions. Sensing her thoughts, Kasumi responded, "We will make sure Nina-san gets some rest from her work when she is teaching us F-injutsu." Kushina smiled at her. Somehow Kasumi was always able to figure out what each one of her family was thinking, most of the time. "Don't worry, Ka-chan. We will work on it," Naruto assured her. All of them were really hoping to get out of Konoha as soon as possible. Shinin exams were in 6 months. Just 6 more months in this hellhole, then we are going to be free. All of them thought simultaneously. Rain Country. Nagato, Yahiko, and Conan stood on the top floor of the Amikage Tower, facing a man in orange mask with a swirl on it and single eye hole. "Who are you? How did you get in here? And what do you want?" Yahiko demanded. They had recently gotten rid of Sanshuo no Hanzo about a week ago, and since then they have been trying their best to re-establish stability in the Rain Country. The figure seemed unaffected by all the killing intent that the 3 ninja in front of him were emitting. He responded in a calm tone. "I have come with a proposal that will aid you in achievement of peace. My name is Uchiha Madara." All 3 of them were shocked upon hearing his name. Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara that battled Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage. But that's impossible, he is dead. And even if he was alive, he would be extremely old, unlike you, Conan protested. The masked man chuckled. "Foolish girl, these eyes of mine have reached a level of power that grants me eternal life. The eternal Manjankyo Sharingan, final stage of the Uchiha Dojutsu. I would explain more to you about myself, but I do not need to. What I want to know is, do you desire true peace?" All 3 of them could feel unnatural power coming off the masked man. It was clear he was no normal ninja. They looked at each other before Yahiko responded. "Yes, but you are not the kind of person who would want such a thing, from what I have heard about you." Madara responded with a careless wave of his hand. "Ah. The shinobi world is full of lies and deceit. You can never trust what you hear from others. I have lived too long, seen too many battles, and have grown too strong to bother with fighting now. All I want is peace," Madara lied expertly. "Damn, I am such an awesome liar. I almost believed what I just said," he thought in amusement. "How can we believe you? And how do you plan on achieving peace anyway? It is not as easy as it sounds, you know," Nagato added suspiciously. "Oh, you will just have to trust me, I suppose. What reason do I have to lie to you? I can easily kill you 3 without much effort." Yahiko, Nagato, and Conan stiffened at his words. If that man really was Uchiha Madara, he had decades to hone his already exceptional skills. They knew what he said was probably true. "But you are needed for this world to be at peace," Madara added. "If you are as strong as you say, what would someone like you need from us?" Yahiko asked curiously. "You, kid," he pointed towards Nagato, "are what I need to bring this world to peace. You can summon the King of Hell's statue thanks to your Rinnegan." I want to use that statue to be able to seal away all 9 of the beach and then use their combined power to recreate the JBI. All 3 of them gasped sharply. Is he insane? They thought. Are you mad? There is no Rikudo Sennin around here this time to stop the rampaging JBI. You will bring this world to its end, Nagato shouted. And that is where you are wrong. I won't give JB freedom. I will seal it away just like the Rikudo Sennin did, into myself and become its second Jinchuriki. Then I will use its power to bring this world to peace. That sounds suspiciously like an evil plan for world conquest to me. And how does that bring world peace exactly? Yahiko demanded. Tell me, why do you desire peace so much? Madara asked them. They thought about it for a while, before Nagato responded. We have gone through too much pain during the wars. We don't want anyone else to suffer the same. Madara nodded in acceptance of his reasoning. Exactly, pain. That's what is needed to bring the world to peace. Unless people understand what true pain is, they can never understand true peace. With the power of the JBI, I will show them what pain is. Some sacrifices will be needed along the way, but in the end, we will have our common goal, peace. Having a basic idea of what he meant by his statement and not liking it, Yahiko questioned, "What do you mean by you will show them what pain is?" It won't be necessary. With the power granted to me by the JB, I will be able to cast my ultimate illusion on the world through the moon. Everyone will be trapped in an illusion that is impossible to escape and never ends. Through that, I will make them forget their hatred. That is not peace. That is merely an escape from reality. Konen yelled furiously, interrupting Madara in the middle of his speech. She was a firm believer in peace through love, and what this man wanted was to trap the very reality in an illusion. Nagato snorted, "Fool. You want to become JB's Jinchuriki. You have the arrogance to compare yourself to the Rikudo Sennin. He is revered as the man to first understand the very nature of chakra itself. He was so powerful that he created the moon on his deathbed. Think about it, you idiot. He created the moon when he was dying. And that was right after he split up the goddamn JB into 9 parts. He made the Bij, the moon, and effectively killed the JB while he was dying. Do you see something strange there? Mine and your powers combined pale against a fraction of his strength. Not to mention that he was the best Effoinjutsu master to ever exist. He sealed the JBI into himself without a soul sacrifice. The Yondaime, who was stronger than Hashirama Senju, who by the way kicked your ass, died when he sealed the Kibi. The sage was for all intents and purposes no longer a human, but somewhat of a god. Have you lost your mind thinking that something like what you are planning will happen like you want? To even attempt something like that will lead to the end of the world." The mysterious man's eyes flashed red for a moment before he started chuckling again. "Kukuku, you are not what I expected, Nagato. Don't underestimate yourself so much. You are an Uzumaki, descendant of the Rikudo. You think I will aid you into this madness?" Nagato asked with disbelief. "You will do it." Yahiko was not happy with the way this so-claimed Uchiha Madara was trying to make them his pawns. "How about no?" "Haha, that was very amusing. Now let's get serious here. You have 2 choices. First is to do as I say and achieve your one true goal, world peace. The second is you die." Before they could reject his offer again, he held up his hand as a signal to wait. "Before you make a hasty decision and die a useless death, I will let you have a day to think this through." "Why do you assume I won't be able to do it? I will admit I am not as strong as the Rikudo Sennin, but I am surely the strongest man alive right now. If there is anyone who can do it, it is I. Your belief of bringing peace through love is a mere illusion. Love breeds hatred, and hatred breeds war." Fear is the next best thing I can think of to bring true peace to the world if my Moon's Eye plan does not succeed. We will be able to use the JBI's power to make the world feel pain. Once they understand pain like you three, they will seek peace like you. Think about this, you can bring the world to peace. This is your chance. Will you take it? With that, the masked man started to get sucked into an alternate dimension and slowly vanished. Yahiko sighed before his gaze fell on Nagato. Before he could speak up, Nagato interrupted him. Yahiko, I know how much you desire peace, but I have learned a few things from my family. One of them is to cherish those I love. Even if what that man said was true and true, peace could never be achieved without his plan. I would rather live in this world filled with hatred, devoid of peace, but with my friends and family. You understand what his plan means, don't you? He will need Naruto-kun and Kasumi-chan. They will be used to recreate the King Bi, and later recreate the JBI. I will not let him do that. Do you hear me? Even if I die doing it, I will kill him. Konan hugged Nagato from behind, attempting to calm his anger. Nagato was kind and quiet before he met Naruto. Then he became kind, cheerful, and dedicated, even bolder in his own beliefs. He was never angry, but when he was, it was never a good thing to be on his bad side. Right now, he was furious. Yahiko sighed. Nagato, as much as I desire peace, I can see 1,000 problems with Madara's plan, if he really is Madara. But we must think rationally here. First of all, he gave us two choices, follow him or die. As much as I would love to say no without thinking, can we really fight him off if he is who he says he is? Nagato tried to calm himself before responding, You have a point, but as I said, I would rather die than follow him, causing death of my family. Yahiko, Konan said in a sad tone. I believe what Nagato said is right. True peace can only be achieved through understanding and love, not how Madara wants it. Yahiko sighed in frustration. Nagato, Konan, listen to me. If he is Uchiha Madara, then he can most probably kill all three of us. We won't be of any use to your family or the world if we just die. Nagato looked furiously at his best friend. So you are saying we should just do as he says, no matter the consequences? Are you even listening to what I am trying to say? Let's just consider what will happen depending on our choice. If we deny him, we will probably die. On the other hand, if we accept, we can keep track of his movements from within his organization, weaken him from within, as well as possibly find out his true plans if he has any. We can also discover any weakness he might have and warn the other Uzumaki when he decides to go for the Kibi. If all else fails and he is able to capture the other 8 Jinchuriki, or he finds out we are not loyal to him, then we will fight him with all our strength before he can get Naruto and Kasumi to not let him complete his plans. What do you say? Nagato thought about it, so did Konan. Yahiko's plan did make sense. What was the use of dying when you can help, even if you had to pretend to be on the other side? The next day, they accepted the masked man's offer, who was all too happy for it. He didn't really care if the 3 Akatsuki leaders were loyal or not. If they tried to betray him, he will just finish them off. I am glad you all understood my reasoning. Now we will have to recruit some strong members, as the Jinchuriki are often well protected, and pretty strong too. I already have a few S-rank missing nin planned out for our organization. Playing along their roles, the 3 Akatsuki leaders Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan nodded. He smirked behind his mask. As much as I would like to take the Rinnegan for myself from you, Nagato, I still need a strong leader for this organization. I am not ready to reveal myself to the world yet, but I will be soon. If you had denied, I would have been all too happy to finally get my hands on the Rinnegan. But for now, you will serve me till your purpose ends. Then I will take your eyes. With the Rinnegan and the Sharingan both at my command, I will be able to control Jobi's power. Mentally all giddy at the thought of being as strong as the Rikudo Sennin, he left the Amakage Tower, confident in his plans. As soon as he was gone, Yahiko sighed in relief. Well, now we are recruiting S-rank missing nins. Konan grimaced. I don't like this. Even our friends will get dragged into this. All of them may be a class, but some might not survive. Nagato nodded but decided not to comment. This wasn't going to be easy, but this way they will know each of their enemies and their weakness. They were going to recruit them after all. Conan, send a paper butterfly with the news of this new development to Uzumaki compound. I want them to be prepared when the time comes. Title: Chapter 11. The Vixen's Dilemma. Uzumaki, Compound Kanahagakure, no Sato. Once Kushina was done explaining her plan to the three siblings, the group stood in comfortable silence, each going through various options in their heads to find any problem that they might have missed. After a while, Kushina decided that they have had enough time to think, and it's not really possible to have a perfect plan. All right, you three, now that we are done discussing all that, I'm going to show you all how to perform Rasengan, just like I promised. She took a glance at Naruto to see any signs of protests, but on finding none, she smiled. The other two seemed a bit excited to learn a powerful technique, but didn't show it too much. Kushina grinned at Naruto. Good, Sochi-kun. You look like you understood your lesson well. Naruto nodded sheepishly. He had forgotten one of the first basic lessons taught by Kushina when he protested learning Rasengan, not something he was proud of. Kushina continued, before we begin, I want you all to know that this technique was actually my idea. As much as I want to hate the bastard and say he didn't contribute anything to this, that's not true. He was actually able to perform it before me, so despite it being my idea, it became his original jutsu. The three siblings looked shocked. Ka-chan, why didn't you tell anyone till now that it was your idea? Hasumi protested. Well, I didn't really care that much about it, I guess. And I didn't want people call me or my husband a liar. At that time, I did like him very much. Also, even if I had wanted to take credit, I knew no one would believe me if I told them it was my idea. After all, Minato was the genius of Konoha, while I was a foreign refugee. The three of them nodded in understanding. People didn't believe what they didn't want to believe, so it was no use for her to try and claim the technique as her own. If anything, it would have established her as a liar. Kushina sighed at their grim faces. Look, it doesn't matter what happened in the past, I just told you because I thought you should know. Now let's move on to the technique. Rasengan is basically a modified version of an Uzumaki chakra control exercise, the chakra rotation. You rotate chakra in your palm in multiple directions, then you add more and more chakra into it, and finally you maintain its shape in a small spherical ball, thus forming the spiraling sphere, Rasengan. So these are the first three steps you will go through: rotation, power, and control. You all must remember that the Kage Bunshin training that all of you have gone through is not an option for a non-Uzumaki. So most other ninja are not as good as us in nature manipulation. Jinchuriki of other tailed beasts might be able to do it too, but I don't think any of them know about this jutsu. And don't teach anyone this. Once she gave them a hard look to make sure her point got across to them, she continued. Once you complete the first three steps, the fourth step is to add an element to it. I have as of yet not completed mine, since I never got the time to do so until now, and all the responsibilities didn't give me much time to think. This step is also the most dangerous one you have to go through to complete this technique. Odds are until the technique is perfected, it will blow up in your face, causing extreme damage. So once you start practicing stage 4, use only Kage Bunshin, and don't train in it personally. All three siblings nodded in acceptance. Kasumi made over 1,000 shadow clones and sent them practice Rasengan, much to the envy of everyone else present. Damn, you don't even look winded after that, Natsumi pouted. Kasumi only smiled sheepishly. Natsumi made 50 shadow clones and sent them to practice, while she herself sat down trying the same. Naruto, on the other hand, made 200 shadow clones, contributing even more to Natsumi's irritation. Seeing her mood, Kasumi spoke up. Natsumi-ni-chan, I am actually working on a new chakra seal that might help you with your reserves. Want to check it out after this? One of the few things Kasumi hated was when she got something that her family didn't. Having an unfair advantage over them just didn't seem right to her. She knew she had no choice in sealing, but still, having all that Yoki sealed into her really gave her a vast and unfair advantage over Natsumi and Naruto. Although Naruto had Kibi to guide him, along with perhaps the world's most powerful bloodline. But Natsumi was a different case. She had none of the advantages Naruto and Kasumi had, and she hadn't even been trained properly until she was 10. Naruto gave me Sharingan too, but Natsumi doesn't have the Sharingan or Yoki. Unlike me. Natsumi's interest peaked. Really? I was kinda working on something similar, based on Tsunade's Shadow Seal, the one she uses to give her a shitload of chakra for using creation rebirth. You can look into my notes if you want to. Natsumi didn't really feel so bad. She was in fact happy that her sister and brother were so strong. The only reason she was irritated was because she was angry with herself. If I ever get into trouble, they can save me, as they are strong. But if they get into any trouble, I'm useless, much weaker than them. I'm supposed to be the older sister, damn it. Kasumi continued, I will do that. But this one is a bit different. It doesn't gather your chakra to store. It gathers chakra from your surroundings. The nature chakra. I found out that the reinforcement seals were actually based on the same concept. The only reason they weren't used on people was because if you apply them on a human, they turn into a stone statue. Natsumi raised an eyebrow in curiosity. You want me to turn into a stone statue? I didn't know you hated me that much, she finished in a playful tone. Kasumi didn't catch the playfulness in her voice, so she got a hurt look on her face. Of course not. How can you even think I would do something like that? I love you. You are my sister. She huffed. That only caused Natsumi to laugh at her. Relax, sis. I was just joking. Kasumi pouted, but continued. For your information, I found out why they turn into a stone statue instead of just giving up. You need to make your body accustom this special type of chakra before you start using it. So it is just that simple. First, we will use limitation seals to pump extremely minute amounts of nature chakra into your body constantly. And once you slowly become used to it, we will keep increasing the amount. With time and practice, you will be able to enter something akin to Toad Sage mode whenever you activate your seal. Or at least that's the theory. Natsumi smiled at her. Thank you, Kasumi-chan. I hope your seal is successful. Kasumi nodded. I hope so too, Wani-chan. What do you think about having a dinner outside? I am going to meet Umi this evening, and I don't want her to think that it's a date. Sure, Natsumi quickly agreed. Okay, we will be back by 8, Ka-chan. No problem, Kasumi-chan. In case you can't convince them, and they somehow come to know of our plans, you know what to do, right? Yes, mother. I will not leave any loose ends, since they may threaten my family later. Kushina nodded. Naruto got the meaning behind her words as well. I hope they agree to be spies, or Kasumi-chan will need to kill again. A few hours later, it was about 3 in the evening, and Kushina had told them that they were done with training for today. Naruto and Kushina were alone in the kitchen. Kushina was preparing their favorite dish, ramen, as a celebratory meal for finally getting a chance to get out of Konoha, permanently. Naruto steeled his nerves before speaking about what he considered an extremely dangerous topic. You know, Ka-chan, I had something to ask you. Kushina looked at him, blushed a bit under his cerulean gaze and looked down. Why do I feel like this when he looks at me? Go ahead, she said. Naruto caught her blush but didn't comment on it. He tried to relax himself before beginning. He was feeling a bit nervous on how Kushina would react to this. I hope no one dies. Well, Ka-chan, after my first time with Kasumi when I entered my mindscape. Flashback. Naruto was damn happy, and he had every right to be. He had just made love, or as he liked to say, fucked the hell out of Kasumi for the first time, 7 times last night, and once in the morning. Nothing could put his mood down, so when he was unexpectedly pulled into his mindscape after he exited his room, he didn't get annoyed at all, and started walking towards where he knew Kijangbai would be. Soon enough, he found himself in the room that he made for her in his mind. After some mental training, he had been able to reshape his mindscape to an extent, and the first thing Kibi had him do was to change her residence from a cage and sewer to something better. Right now it looked like the presidential suite in a luxury hotel. The best thing was it was in his mind, so he didn't have to pay for it. When he finally got a good look on Kibi's position, he had to force himself from fainting. She was lying on her queen-sized bed, naked, doing inappropriate things to herself. She had a blissful smile on her face. It had more than a few effects on him, even though he ignored them. "What the hell happened to you?" He managed to speak somehow. Kibi moaned and then looked up. Upon seeing Naruto, she sighed. "Is it really that hard for you to figure out? I was yelping every time you got boiled during your water walking. Yes?" Confused, Naruto asked her again. "What does that have to do with your current state?" Kibi sighed again at his obliviousness. "You know, Naruto, I don't know how you can be a genius at one time and a retard the next second." "Well, the thing I am trying to say is, everything you feel is felt by me too. So when you were fucking Kasumi, get it yet?" Naruto's eyes got wide in shock before he started growling. "You are fucking my sister. We have a lot to talk about." He grabbed Kibi by her shoulder and began dragging her to a newly created dark room that looked as if it was made for torture. "If you don't treat her right, I assure you I will make sure you die in the most painful ways imaginable. If you even try to hurt one hair on her head..." "Hold on right there," Kibi yelped indignantly. "A demon queen like her wasn't used to being dragged around by... First of all, you are the one fucking her, which is the only reason I got to feel her. Though I will admit it was the best thing I ever felt." She sighed happily. Naruto's face turned red before he sat down at the edge of her bed and sighed to calm himself a bit. "Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, calm." Finally, he spoke again, this time in a much calmer tone. "So every time me and Kasumi have sex, you will feel like you are having sex with Kasumi?" Kibi nodded. "Yes, ever since the seal got weak, I can feel everything you feel. If you get hurt, I feel the pain as well. And when you are having fun, I feel the same?" Now that Naruto thought about it, it was a bit strange that a millennia-year-old demon queen would open herself up to his family in just a few years. Makes sense, she shares all my feelings, so she instinctively feels love towards them, and hatred towards my enemies. While she knows they are not really her feelings, she must have gotten used to them with time. So that means... Naruto's head snapped towards the vixen and he spoke, this time in a defeated tone. "If this means what I think it does, I will need to speak with Kao-chan about it. And before I get together with Kasumi again, I will need to tell her about this too. It's not fair if I let you take pleasure from her without her knowledge."
Wake up to reality.
Kibi nodded hesitantly, and then Naruto exited his mindscape. "I hope Kasumi-chan says yes. I don't know how I will live knowing I won't feel that again. God, it was so awesome. If that's what sex feels like, I regret it so much not trying something like that all my life. But then again, no being appealed to me then. But now, there is Naruto." She collapsed back on her bed with a content smile on her face. She licked her lips as she thought of Naruto. Strong, mostly smart, and a perfect candidate for me. He doesn't judge me like all others. Naruto-kun? Well, let's see if he reciprocates this new feeling of mine. I don't care about sex with Kasumi. That's just added bonus until I get out of here. In the end, only a demon like me can possibly hope to satisfy a demon like Naruto. End flashback. And that's what happened, Naruto finished explaining. Kushina's eyes flashed with anger. "Let me talk to her." Her statement gave no room for argument. Naruto nervously nodded. If he was honest with himself, he kind of liked Kibai and didn't want his mother to kill her if it was possible to do so. But he had no intention of attracting her wrath upon himself either. "Oh, okay, Kachan, just don't do anything drastic." Kushina's glare shut him up. Sighing, he channeled chakra into his eyes. The suppression of his dojutsu ended as the chakra to the lens was cut off, and his silver-blue rippled eyes with 9 tomo became visible. Tsukiyomi, goddess of the moon. Tsukiyomi world. Kushina found herself in the red-black Tsukiyomi world, with the crimson moon shining overhead. As she looked around and quickly spotted the nervous Kibai, who was uncharacteristically shuffling from one foot to the other. Kibi was wearing her usual silver blouse and the semi-transparent red clothing, but her eyes resembled more to a puppy that was being scolded than a demon queen. Growling, Kushina moved in front of her and tackled her against the nearby black cross. Kibi found her back pressed against the torture cross, and her body immobile thanks to Kushina holding both her hands with her own. She couldn't move much as Kushina's body was pressing her down on the cross. "You have a lot to answer for," Kushina growled. Kibi started sweating a bit, but pretended to not know what Kushina was talking about. Like what? Kushina pressed herself harder against Kibi and glared even more fiercely. "You took sexual advantage of my daughter without her permission." Kibi chuckled nervously. "Well, that was only because he did the same, but with her permission. If you are to be reasonable, you will see she indirectly gave me the permission too." "Why didn't you tell Naruto about this before, or while they were doing it?" Kushina snapped. "Well, you see, I wanted to, but it felt too good. So you thought it would be fine if you just let it happen." Kibi had had just enough. "First of all, it was not my fault that your husband thought it would be a bright idea to seal me into your son. Then secondly, it was again not my idea to go to bed with Kasumi. Again, it was not my choice if I feel what he feels or not. Then, I have never once felt that good in my life. And is it really that wrong for me to feel good, even once in my life? Just because I am a demon, I don't deserve anything. I never had sex before. No one came close enough to me to be able to do that, neither did I want to. If anything, I should be angry for not being able to enjoy my first time directly. Just because I didn't say anything yet, doesn't mean you can walk all over me." By the end of her explanation, Kibi looked furious, her eyes having the same expression that they had on the day she attacked Konoha. Without warning, she threw the shocked Kushina off her. A new black cross emerged behind Kushina, to which she was immediately bound. "Ki-chan, Ka-chan, please calm down. I know you are both angry about this, but think rationally. Attacking each other won't solve anything." Naruto interrupted on seeing his mother bound to the torture cross. Kibi had partial control over Naruto's Sharingan techniques, as long as she was sealed inside him. So if she wanted, she had 3 full days to torture Kushina, and Naruto would be hard-pressed to be able to get her out of there. Kibi calmed herself by taking a few deep breaths, not that she needed to, being inside Naruto's mind, but it still calmed her down. The chains which bound Kushina to the black cross disappeared, and a few moments later, the cross faded as well. "I'm sorry, but please don't accuse me for something I had no control over," Kibi said. Kushina sighed, and put her righteous motherly fury away before speaking. "It's okay, I guess I was just mad thinking that my daughter had been, in a sense, taken advantage of." There was tense silence for a few moments before Kushina broke it again. "What are your feelings for her?" Kibi looked questioningly at Kushina. "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean. How do you feel about her?" Kibi coughed uncomfortably. She still remembered how good it felt to fuck Kasumi. Even though she knew it wasn't her doing it, it just felt so real. "I cannot lie as a demon lord. We are bound to our words. So I will answer you honestly. I love her just as much as Naruto. I love you too, along with Natsumi. Although, that is because my emotions and feelings are directly dependent on my host as it is right now. So that's what he feels for you. Thus, what I feel as well. This will, of course, probably change as soon as I'm out of this seal, if that happens. Kushina's eyes widened upon hearing this. And my God? Of all things she had been expecting. It is really very simple. I feel about you all exactly as what Naruto feels. I hadn't really had any real good feelings when I spent thousands of years alone, so when I experienced the joy of being with you all through Naruto, I slowly grew addicted to it. Naruto loves you three, so every time he looks or thinks about any of you, his emotions radiate love, which is exactly what I feel due to our link. I am not sure if I would have loved you all if there wasn't the emotional link between me and Naruto, but the fact remains that as it is now, I do. So there, now you know. Kushina's eyes were wide from shock. Oh my God. The Demon Queen, Kibi no Kitsune, loves me, and my son and daughters. We are so fucked. Naruto had suspected this, which was exactly what he had thought after his last conversation with Kibi. That was what he was afraid of. Naruto still had something to ask though. Ki-chan, I will be honest with you as well. You are extremely beautiful, and not really evil from our point of view. But you need to be sure what you really feel about us before you say something like that. It can be just my own emotions influencing you. Kibi shook her head in negative. Your emotions did influence me greatly. I will admit that. But as it is right now, I cannot differentiate between your emotions and my emotions. Even after you release me, if that happens, then I will not be bound anymore. And these emotions may not longer be there. But they might as well be. The memories won't change. So at the very least, I will feel emotionally attached to you all. And as for you, Naruto-kun, the feelings I have for you are all my own. Naruto nodded in understanding, not thinking too much of what Kinbai felt towards him. He didn't like how his emotions had manipulated how she feels, but there wasn't anything that could be done now. Kyubi gave a sad smile then. And if the seal absorbs me completely, then that is one less problem for you to deal with, right, Kushina-chan? Kushina looked down in shame at that. I guess I have been really unfair to her today. She hadn't really done anything against my family till now. Kyubi-chan, do you mind me calling you that? She asked. Of course not, I already told you how I feel about you. Whether you like it or not, I still love you, if only because of Naruto. Kushina blushed. Ahem, well, we will discuss that later. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for how I reacted. But please ask Kasumi about this before you do it again. It won't be fair for her otherwise. Naruto nodded. We will do that, Kaya-chan. Kushina nodded at her son before giving Kyunbi a small smile as well. What is it about the seal absorbing you, though? She asked curiously. Naruto sighed and started explaining to her. An hour later in Tsukiyomi. I see. Why didn't you tell me about all this sooner? Naruto-kun. Kushina scolded. She had just been explained about Naruto's half-demon status, and Kinbai's soul merging slowly with Naruto's own. Naruto waved his arms in front of him, defensively. Hey, I've only been here a few days. And I've been busy, so I guess it slipped my mind. Still glaring at Naruto, Kushina scolded him again. Fine. But don't keep important things from me in the future, especially those that affect you or others in the family. Upon seeing the confused glance of Kimbi, she decided to clarify, well, since you love all of us, and have helped us a lot in the past, you can be considered family, right? But I caused most of your troubles in the first place, she countered in confusion. Kushina sighed. You didn't know us then, you were arrogant, which you are not now, I hope, and it was Minatoshi spoke with venom in her voice, who sealed you inside Naruto and Kasumi. You might be the cause of village's trouble, but not ours. This whole damn village is the real cause of our trouble. After seeing what those villagers are like, I would say they deserved what you did to them and more. Kibi tried to act like the thousands-of-year-old demon she is, but in the end gave up and hugged Kushina and started sobbing. Thank you, she whispered. Kushina rubbed her back in a comforting manner. Never thought I would be hugging a sobbing demon queen? Oh well, life has its surprises. It's all right, you won't have to be alone from now on. You have a family. We will get you out of this seal soon. She held Kibi by her shoulders and pulled her a bit away from her, then gave a light kiss on her lips. Hitomi, she whispered. Huh? Kushina asked. Hitomi. I gave myself that name when I was 20-year-old, but since I never told it to anyone, they just named me Kigbai, or the nine-tailed demon fox. I never felt the need to tell anyone that name. Kushina grinned at her. Well, Hitomi-chan, now that we all sort of know you, and you don't have any tails coming out of your butt that I can see, I think I prefer the name Hitomi. Hitomi giggled at Kushina, liking the feeling of their bodies pressed together. In all thousands of years, she never really had been touched with the intent to provide her comfort until now. It felt good to her, really good. Naruto was offended, though. How come you never told me your name in the last 5 years we can talk? And you just met her 2 times in Tsukiyomi, and you tell her. Hitomi only hugged Kushina tighter and sighed in contentment. You never asked me, and never talked to me on a more personal level, Naruto-kun. It was always what should I train in next, where to go next, or other strictly non-personal stuff. Naruto looked away from them. I thought you wouldn't like to talk about things like that and would take it the wrong way. I know, but you asked for the reason, and I told you. Hitomi replied. Naruto pouted. Very well, Hitomi-chan. I hope you are ready to ask Kasumi for the permission. Hitomi turned bright red at the thought. I am going to ask another girl if I can have sex with her, and she doesn't really know me on a personal level, though I know her as good as Naruto. Kushina sighed at the demon queen's plight. Well, don't worry about it now. Kasumi is not going to be home for a while. Hitomi nodded nervously. With that, Naruto released Tsukiyomi. Real world. Only a second or two had passed during the whole conversation, and now Kushina and Naruto were back to the real world. They didn't say anything for a while, before Kushina hesitantly spoke up. Naruto, are you really romantically interested in me? I could clearly see that in Hitomi-chan, and if you two share all feelings. Naruto almost choked on the air he was breathing. Answer me honestly. If there is one thing I never want you to do, that is to lie to your family. Naruto stiffened at her words before he leaned against the kitchen wall to think about it. You are one of the most beautiful women I have met. I won't lie about it. In fact, the only ones who even remotely compare to you are Kasumi, Natsumi, and Hitomi. Ever since I returned from my training, my feelings for all 3 of you have changed. It might be because of the demonic nature, and increased libido, I think. Kushina blushed. Naruto continued, seemingly talking to himself. I've been tempted to claim all 4 of you all the time since my half-demon transformation. The only time I wasn't desperate was the day when I did Kasumi. And even then I had the desire to do so. Just not so much. Naruto continued during my training. I gained one of the techniques that gave me access to nature chakra. The Tozi Eye Goddess of Nature lets me use nature chakra for a short period of time while it is activated. After a few of its uses, as I grew more acquainted with the nature itself, the seal holding Hitomi-chan's soul weakened even more. It is designed to slowly dissolve Hitomi-chan's soul into mine with time. That means within a few years, Hitomi-chan will cease to exist, and I will become a full demon unless we manage to break her out. Kushina's eyes darkened upon hearing this. Just when I think I know everything that man has fucked up in my life, something more pops up. He designed the seal in such a way that my new family member dies, and my son becomes a demon. He will still be loved by us, though, no matter what. Naruto saw Kushina's visage darken. I am working on the seal, and I am going to ask Kasumi-chan to study the Shiki F Jin as well, from the copy of the Forbidden Scroll we obtained. But the fact is, I am a half-demon now. Kushina sighed and tried to get her hatred for Minato under control. He was not here, so it will only hurt others. What changes will you undergo because of this? Naruto made a mental list of everything he knew, and then started pointing everything out to her. First of all, I will have access to Yoki. Only one tail as of now. My Yoki control is average right now. My control over natural instincts will be lower. You might have noticed this. I haven't been able to keep up my regular mask as much as I used to before. My bloodlust and libido have increased dramatically as well. Kushina blushed again. Yeah? I saw the effects in the video. Naruto coughed. Yeah, I kind of lost control for a while there. Thankfully, I was able to restrain myself for most of the night. You were restraining yourself? Kushina asked in disbelief. At his nod, Kushina's eyes widened. Holy shit! That means Kasumi will definitely not be enough to satisfy you. Or you might just kill her. No offense, but you are just a half-demon right now. We're restraining yourself. It was your first time, but still you fucked her 7 times till she was unconscious. And then once more in the morning. I would say even if we manage to get Hitomi-chan out, it will take some time. Your bond will only grow stronger with that time. What do you suggest? Naruto asked in defeat. Kushina thought about it for a while before replying, You will need to be able to satisfy your needs, or you might go insane from pent-up frustration, or start raping anyone or anything you see. So I would suggest you fulfilling your needs by appropriate means. Kasumi will be more than willing to help you there, but she alone won't be enough. Natsumi, from what I can tell, loves you too, but you should wait for her to finish developing, and until she is ready for it. Unlike Kasumi, she doesn't have that level of mastery over her age. Nina doesn't seem too interested in anything. Yet. Hitomi-chan is sealed, but once she gets out you can have her too. I mean, she does seem to have a high amount of affection towards you. Higher than what she has for any of us girls. Hitomi-chan? Naruto asked mentally. It's true. He sighed. He had figured it out partially, so it wasn't as much of a surprise anymore. Kushina continued, this time with a blush. Then there is me. But I don't think you would really want me. And the girls would be uncomfortable as well. Naruto shook his head. You are physically almost the same age as me, a year or 2 differences at most. You already told us that bloodlines counter the side effects of incest, so it isn't frowned upon in bloodline clans. I don't see how you are any different from Kasumi and Natsumi, Kushina-chan. He knowingly replaced mother with her name, seeing as he was now almost the same age as her. It was time he stopped calling her that, or she might feel old and uncomfortable around certain subjects he was talking about. Kushina caught the change of her title. But Sochi-kun, I don't want to come between you all and... I am not very good in bed, she said in a subdued tone. Naruto raised an eyebrow at that. Who told you that? She hesitantly continued, in an even more subdued tone. I only tried a few times, really. Every time it was with Minato. We never really had much fun. It was more like we were doing a job to get children. Kushina seemed like she was going to cry. He even told me once that it was boring. Naruto sighed. It could be because you didn't love him, or he was just incompetent in bed. Kushina nodded hesitantly. It is a possibility, but you can't be sure. Anyhow, we will need to discuss this all with Kasumi first. Naruto nodded in defeat. With every passing moment he was finding it harder and harder to control himself. Damn it, I hope Kasumi-chan doesn't take this all the wrong way. Kushina-chan, if Kasumi-chan and Natsume-chan agree with this, will you want to give me a try? I do love you as well, you know. Kushina sighed. I will give it a try if they agree, but please don't think less of me if it is not as enjoyable as Kasumi-chan. Don't worry, Kushina-chan. I won't. I will love you regardless, but I can bet right now that you will be great. He huskily whispered into her ear, causing her to blush again. I can't believe I am letting him do this. With Kasumi. In her quest to make Hinata become their spy, Kasumi found herself watching Team 8 doing their first D-rank mission. She had come there so she could talk to Hinata about her job once they were gone from Konoha, but decided to wait till they were done with the mission. The mission was a simple one, capturing a cat named Tora. Unfortunately for Kasumi, she had been spotted by Kurenai, who asked her if she wanted to help them with the mission. Normally she wouldn't have done that, but today she wanted to be at least a little nice to Hinata, as she was going to ask her to be her spy later. It would be nice to have a few brownie points before she does that. That wouldn't have been so bad either, but she was paired with Kiba. Hinata and Shino were looking for the cat in southern part of the village, Kurenai in west, while Kasumi and Kiba were going east. Since the cat had run away from north, they assumed she wasn't there. Kiba's voice broke through her mental train of thought. You want to get a pizza and fuck? Arf! Silence. You don't like pizza? Fine. In my mind, we're going to have sex anyway, so you might as well be in the room. Arf? My name is Inuzuka Kiba, by the way. That's so you know what to scream. Arf! Arf! Apart from being sexy, what do you do for a living? Arf. Will you shut up? She finally snapped. If I do, what are going to give me? Arf. It is not what I am going to give you. It is what I am not going to give you if you shut the fuck up. Huh? And what is that? Kiba asked curiously. If it's a blowjob, I might as well continue talking, as I would like to get one. Arf! Kasumi's eyebrow twitched. Why did that little dog seem to agree with Kiba on all of his horrible pickup lines? It's a chakra-powered kick between your legs, dog boy. Stop hitting on me. I'm taken. And you too, Mr. Puppy. Aye. Growl escaped Kiba's throat as she said that. By whom? Akamaru just whined. It's none of your business. They continued in tense silence, looking for the cat. A few minutes later, they caught sight of something red and furry entering an alley, and immediately began chasing it. If I catch it, I will finally be able to get away from him. Kiba, however, had different plans. If I catch the cat, it will show her I am the alpha male, and she should be my bitch. Arf! 20 minutes later, Shino, Hinata, and Kurenai were staring in horror at the sight before them. Kasumi was dragging Kiba by his leg. His form was beaten, bloody and unconscious. Akamaru didn't seem to be in a better shape, but his ride was more comfortable as he was on Kiba's stomach. They winced as his head bumped against a big stone in the path once again. Kasumi seemed oblivious to it and kept dragging. Upon reaching the group, she threw Kiba carelessly towards them. What the hell happened to him? Kurenai gasped. She was shocked how such a sweet-looking girl could so cruelly drag her student like he was useless. Kasumi started explaining. Well, we found the cat, and Kiba tried to catch it to show me how alpha he is. The catchy once again looked at her shoulder where the cat seemed to be having a nap. Fought him and, well, you can see some of the results. By the end of it, he was completely covered in claw marks and about to pass out from blood loss. I don't know how the bright idea got into his head, but when I picked the poor tired cat up, he tried to grope me. So I completed what the cat started. She didn't mention that the cat Tora had used Yoki during her fight with Kiba. She had seen it with her own eyes. Since the cat probably felt the Yoki inside of Kasumi, she felt safe with her own kind, which was probably why she let Kasumi hold her effortlessly. Hinata and Shino seemed shocked. Shino was surprised that a cat had beaten Kiba. I no longer think it was logical for me to score lower. I am paired with a weak teammate anyway. It is not logical for a good genin to lose to a gay cat. Kiba-san is going to suffer for trying to sexually assault Kasumi-chan. I will make sure of it, Hinata thought with a dark aura around her, causing Kurenai and Shino to back off. Okay, Kurenai started. I am going to have a loom talk with Kiba and his parents on how to behave around women later. Now that we have the cat, let's take her to her owner at the Hawkage Tower. Then we can call it a day and Hinata can go with her friend to wherever she wants. And I am sorry for how my student behaved, she finished in an apologizing tone. Kasumi smiled warmly at her. I need to make sure she trusts I have been good around Hinata. Otherwise, she might suspect her later after we have left. It's not your fault, Kurenai-san. I am used to it. Kurenai nodded in understanding. She had to face a lot of similar problems due to her own good looks. Though she had to admit Kasumi outclassed her, even she had to suppress a blush when Kasumi smiled. They were right about her. She is a temptress. I'm not surprised considering Kushina-sama is just as beautiful. If so many people weren't afraid of her, she would have a gigantic fan club. In that way, she is lucky she has Kibai's yoki sealed in her. Fortunately for her, she was a trained jonin and a straight woman, so she had no difficulty in maintaining her composure. No one could notice a difference, because there was none on the outside. The group started walking towards the Hokage Tower, with Shino supporting an unconscious Kiba. A few minutes later, "Enter," the Hawkage spoke in his aged voice. "Ah, teammate, you are back early, considering your mission. Oh, such a pleasant surprise to see you here, Kasumi-chan," he greeted warmly. Kasumi shuddered at the thought that this man who seemed so kind to her had given the assassination orders of her mother just yesterday. "Good to see you too, Hokage-sama," she stated calmly. The Hokage was not fooled. He had far too much experience to not be able to see through a 12-year-old's mask, even though she looked 16. Kasumi is trying to restrain her rage and disgust, which means Kushina-chan suspects me for that ambush. I told her it was probably Danzo, but she just won't believe me. He sighed. Why do you have to be so stubborn and silly, Kushina-chan? You will lead to the downfall of your entire family if this goes on. I can't have someone with as much potential as Kasumi go against me. It will be too dangerous. Of course, he didn't tell Kushina that he knew Danzo was behind the assassination, and it was not just a guess. I let him get his hands on the mission details after all. That fool thinks he is going behind my back and doing Konoha a favor, while he is just being used by me to have Konoha some favors done. Those that I can't have done, directly. People just don't use their minds. He was disappointed that the 4 Anbu that Kushina had killed were not with root insignia on their masks, otherwise his plan was flawless. She would have thought it was Danzo's attempt, not his, if only Danzo hadn't tried to be a smartass. Hokage-sama, are you all right? Kurenai asked, concerned for the kind leader. Ah, my apologies, Kurenai-san. I really am getting old for this job. I hope you are ready soon to take up the responsibility of the new generation, Kasumi-chan. He joked. Kasumi grimaced. The Hokage had always told her in Naruto the great stories of how awesome the Hokage were, how they sacrificed everything for their village every time he got a chance to speak with her or Naruto alone. If not for Kushina warning them both beforehand not to believe anything told to them by anyone but herself, they would have been fascinated by the prospect of being a Hokage. I don't think I am ready for such kind of job, Hokage-sama, she stated calmly once again. This time, even with the experience of 3 great shinobi wars, Sarutobi was unable to pick up the disgust hidden behind her voice. Well, at least she doesn't hate the idea completely. I can't detect any disgust there. She stands a chance yet. Let me not hold you all for too long. If you are done with your mission and don't want another, please go ahead with your other duties, he warmly stated. On not receiving any protest, he continued. Very well then, all of you except Kasumi are dismissed. Team 8 walked out of the room. Well, Kiba got dragged by Shino, but it doesn't matter. You needed something, Hokage-sama? Kasumi asked curiously. Indeed? I wanted to apologize for the assassination attempt on your mother. I hope she is all right. I assure you I am trying my best to find out the people behind it. But my age is catching up to me. I am too old for this job. Oh well, soon you will be old enough for the job, and then I am sure you will find the people who tried to hurt your mother and deal with them accordingly. Aren't I right, Kasumi-chan? Is there anything else you needed, Hokage-sama? This time, instead of being calm, her voice was cold. There was a limit to which she could tolerate people trying to manipulate her. Colder than ice, I don't like how she was raised. Once the Shainin exams are over, and I don't have all these preparations to make, I will have to clean up this mess that I made with Uzumaki. First, I will need to get rid of Kushina to break the kids' masks, and then use their emotionally weakened state to convince them that if one of them were village leader, that wouldn't have happened. If one of them is hell-bent on becoming the Hokage, the other will automatically follow. They can't separate. At least one thing Kushina did helps me in this plan. If they don't show complete loyalty to the village, sadly I will have to get rid of them both. As much as it will hurt me, Danzo is getting harder to manipulate as well. I am getting too old for this shit. Once Kasumi was out of Hokage office, she found Hinata waiting for her by the gate and smiled at her. Hinata blushed. You wanted to talk to me about something, Kasumi-chan. Yes, Hinata-chan. Let's go somewhere private first. She then grabbed Hinata's wrist and used a shunshin to teleport them outside the Uzumaki compound. As Hinata arrived with Kasumi in front of the gates of Uzumaki compound, without a word, Kasumi took her inside. They walked in silence to Kasumi's room, Hinata's blush getting darker and darker every second. She is taking me to her room, and we are going to have a private talk. She couldn't help but be extremely excited over what Kasumi was going to talk to her about. There were just so many things going on in her head. It could be Hinata's dreamscape. Kasumi looked deep into Hinata's eyes before she started to strip out of her clothes. What are you doing, Kasumi-chan? I have been holding my feelings for you for too long, Hinata-heim. I love you, and will love you till the end of the world.
As she finished speaking, she pulled her closer and their lips met with fiery passion. Hinata moaned as she finally got to feel what those glossy red lips were like.
I love you too, Kasumi-chan. Let's make love till our bodies give up.
Kasumi started kissing her lower and lower, down her neck, between her breasts, on her belly.
Back in the real world. Thump. Kasumi sighed as she watched Hinata faint with a nosebleed. Damn it, it's going to be a long way to my room. 10 minutes later. A few more times Hinata had fallen unconscious on the way to Kasumi's room, and once she had almost lost control and lunged for Kasumi. But finally they managed to get to the room without any serious accident. Please sit, Hinata-chan. Hinata hurriedly sat down in Kasumi's lap, causing her eye to twitch. She had meant for her to sit on the chair, not her lap, but she didn't express any outward protest. Maybe it will help if she is happier when I tell her this. She wrapped her arms around Hinata, causing the said girl to almost faint. Hinata-chan, you know that we are not really treated fairly in Konoha, right? Me and my family.
Hinata nodded solemnly at that. I know.
Well, then you must understand that there is a possibility we might need to leave the village someday. Hinata stiffened at her words. While it was great to feel Kasumi's softer parts pressing against her side and her warm breath so close she could feel it, if the price was for her to be separated from Naruto and Kasumi, it wasn't worth it. I will come with you then. Please don't leave me alone, she pleaded. Kasumi sighed. Hinata-chan, do you love me? Damn it, I hate doing this. What?
Answer truthfully, Hinata-chan.
Hi. I do, she answered with the deepest blush of her life. If you do, then won't you do everything you can to ensure I am safe? Even if it means you will have to stay away from me. And even if you know we can only be friends, nothing more than that. Hinata thought about it. Yes, she should be safe, even if we have to remain apart. But what?
Yes, I will. What do you want me to do, Kasumi-chan? She asked in a submissive tone. I knew I stood no chance with her. What a fool I am to even get my hopes up so high. At least I will be of some use to her now.
Kasumi grimaced. She didn't like doing this either, but it had to be done. Don't feel so bad, Hinata-chan. I don't love you, but you are my only friend outside of my family. Please, I am not going to ask you of much. Just every time something major happens in Konoha, could you let me know so that we don't get caught off guard? I will put a seal on you that will let you alert me to your location, and then I can teleport to you using a technique I have. She was just going to put Hireshin seals on her, and when chakra is channeled through them, Kasumi will be alerted about it. Then she can flash to Hinata's location. Hinata nodded without hesitation. I don't have any love for this village either, not after seeing everything they did to you and Naruto-kun. If possible, could you maybe later let me come with you, once you don't need a spy here? I promise I will be strong and help you with anything you need. I am not asking you to be anything more than friends. I know you love Naruto-kun too. Just, can we remain friends? She begged. Friendship is the first step towards a good threesome. Her inner pervert hadn't died yet. Kasumi smiled and hugged her, ignoring the moan from the Hyuga, and the fact that the way Hinata was touching her was questionable. Of course, Hinata-chan, before I leave, I will put some seals on your body, okay? Don't break them, and channel chakra into them whenever you need me. I will see you later, I guess. I have to go with my sister somewhere. Hinata nodded happily at her. She was hoping Kasumi would take her with the Uzumaki as well. Not now, but maybe in a few years. 8 p.m. Uzumaki compound. The dinner Natsumi and Kasumi had with Amai had gone well. They were surprised when Amai didn't turn out to be a fangirl, and had a genuine curiosity and affection towards Kasumi. In the end, it didn't really matter all that much, as Kasumi was going to be using her as a spy, so she will keep up her emotional wall so that she doesn't get attached to Ami. Of course, Ami didn't know that. By the end of the month, Ami will be head over heels in love with Kasumi, and then she is going to be the third spy in Konoha. Kasumi will need to convince Ami that her actions won't harm Konoha in any way, as she doesn't seem to be detached from the village, unlike Hinata. But it wouldn't be too hard for Kasumi to accomplish. After all that, both Uzumaki sisters had returned home, a bit tired from all the conversation, but otherwise fine. Right. Now they were eating the ramen that Kushina had made to celebrate their possible freedom from Konoha that was fast approaching. Natsumi broke the silence after swallowing some more noodles. You know, I was wondering if Orochimaru really wants me, and he is going to be in Konoha for about a month or more when the Channin exams proceed. How are we going to deal with him? Kushina? Himden thought. After a while she smiled. Well, the second part of the Chunin exams is always held in the Forest of Death. Only the students are left in the forest, and for the pedophile Sannin it shouldn't be too hard to sneak in. He will probably make his move at that time, or during the confusion of the invasion. I didn't get too much info out of that ninja, unfortunately. The good thing is that he knew the main attack will commence during the final tournament. So we have full 6 months till the exams start, and another when we have to make our escape. All three siblings nodded, still eating their ramen. Kushina seemed to be lost in thought for a while again. Now that I think about it, Orochimaru uses a seal of sorts to make sure his followers are loyal to him. One of the Takubetsu Jonin, Mitarashi Anko, has one of his seals. Though she never activated it, so it hasn't influenced her all that much. I would say she can still be controlled by Orochimaru to an extent, which is why most people don't trust her. Kasumi looked curiously at her. Can't they just remove the damn seal? Kushina chuckled. Kasumi-chan, how many seal masters does Konoha have? There is Jiraiya and me, that's it. Jiraiya is a busy man, doing his research and gawking on good-looking women, spying hot springs and traveling around the world, doing similar stuff. He also maintains Konoha's spy network. Also, he's no Uzumaki when it comes to F-Winjutsu. Naruto nodded in understanding. I can see why Konoha doesn't know about Orochimaru's village yet. Kushina giggled. Well, I won't say Jiraiya isn't a good spy. Trust me, he is good at what he does, but he rarely takes his job seriously. As opposed to Minato, he isn't completely without morals, though he is a super pervert. If he had to teach any of you Rasengan, he will just show you how he does one stage and leave you to figure it out yourself. Then when you actually somehow manage to do it, he tells you what you already figured out, and then he will give you the second stage and so on. In the end, all he did was showing you a technique, and didn't even explain how you are supposed to do it. That's the way he works. I already told you all the purpose of all 4 stages, so that you know what you want to do before you start doing random stuff till you get it right. That's just a waste of time in my opinion. Yeah, we would have been stuck for months learning it. Kushina shook her head. Kasumi-chan, I don't think you have completed the technique yet. Tell me how far did each of you got today? Naruto was the first one to speak up. I managed to get Rasengan down to step 3. Although I decided to try the next step tomorrow, and focused on something else. Kasumi bit her lip. I got it to step 3 as well with the help of my shadow clones. It only took me an hour or so. But I can't do the next step. I tried many times. Natsumi comforted her sister by Putingji managed it to step 3 too, as I have the best chakra control among us. Kushina nodded at the 3 of them. That's great progress, but don't expect yourself to be able to get stage 4 within a month, or even a year. It hasn't been done yet, so we don't know how hard it will be. I was wondering, Kushina-chan, will it be possible to make a sub-elemental Rasengan?
Kushina paused and thought at Naruto's question. I don't know. Hell, I don't know if even an elemental Rasengan could be made. But if an elemental one is hard, then sub-elemental one will be harder. So don't try to run before you learn how to walk, okay?
Naruto nodded sheepishly. So how are you coming up with Kasumi's bloodline, Naruto-kun? Kushina asked.